all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Comic News program, where we have big news from both DC and Marvel Comics. We're going to start, as we always do, with DC. And the big news this past week with Tim Drake, Robin, and Batgirls being canceled. They're ending in June. Obviously, that's the big thing everybody down at the Five and Dime were talking about. But I already did a video on the Tim Drake Robin deal. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, you can watch that. And I am planning on doing a video in the next couple days about the Batgirls book being canceled, because I think that got lost in the shuffle. And I think there's a bunch of things that need to be pointed out by that cancellation. But that leads us with such big things at DC Comics like webcomics. Oh my, webcomics. DC brings Batman, Zatanna, and Vixen webcomics to print. This kind of is a story that may be for me, but maybe not. We'll see, maybe. 3 of DC's ongoing webcomic collaborations with Webtoons are seeing a print release later in the year. Batman Wayne Family Adventures, Vixen NYC, that probably means New York City, and Zatanna and the Ripper, which sounds like a really cool punk band, will each be published as collected editions this fall. I've heard a lot of good things about the Batman book, and I went to go read it, and this is the problem. I read a lot of manga, so it's not like I'm opposed to learning new ways of reading stuff, right? For some reason, though, comic books and books in general, I end up having a big problem doing it vertical. And it's more comic books. It's more of the progression of it. And I know that if I read more, I'd get used to it, but I can't go vertical. I like to stay on the sexy horizontal, is what I do. Just like the band Wet Leg, right? So it just never worked with me. Plus, these webtoons, yeah, I'm kind of an adult, right? I'm 40. Yeah, and I'm not saying any shade towards anybody, because I did hear that the Batman book was good. Well, let's hear what these things are about. If you're like me, not really familiar with them. Batman Wayne Family Adventures is about Bruce Wayne and his extended family juggling crime, fighting with everyday life. Has notched up an impressive 76 million views and was nominated for an Eisner. I think I was nominated for like 3 Eisners last year. Holy moly, I'm still waiting for my Harvey. You know, Harvey, the non-sexy version. I mean, anything called Harvey, not very sexy. The print edition collects episodes 1 to 25, episodes, and is available August 1st. All right, so you can check that out. Maybe this will be the format that will get me involved. Who knows? But you know what? I like to be on that horizontal myself. Also on August 1st, Vixen NYC, I think that stands for New York City, follows the young character as she moves to the big city, maybe the Big Apple, it should be, to start college, unaware that she's being pursued by her deadly distant relative, General Maxey. Here's the problem. I think that this general, he's pissed off. Nobody can pronounce his name. He's in town with a few days to thrill, and he's going to take it all out on Vixen. That's how I think that means all this write-up. The print edition collects issues 1 to 9. Now we're off of episodes, and now we're talking issues. So issues 1 to 9. Then finally, Zatanna and the Ripper. Oh my, that does sound like a kick-ass band. The series finds the 21-year-old Zatanna blasted back in time to London in the 1800s. Okay, it's Jack the Ripper. And seriously, it should be Zatanna and the Rippers if it was the kick-ass band. Zatanna and the Ripper sounds like some stupid folk duo, but the Ripper doesn't really want to do that and causes friction with Zatanna, and then they break up, right? And then Zatanna goes on to bigger and better things while the Ripper ends up in poverty. That's how I play it. Her only way back is to solve the infamous Jack the Ripper murders. The print edition collects episodes 1 to 11. We're back to episodes. And I know that I saw a movie in the 80s, Time After Time, I think it was, that kind of had that exact plot. But that's okay. It's a webtoon, and we're going to keep it horizontal there. Oh, my. We're going to move off to Marvel Comics because, yes, that was the DC Comics news for the week so far. Marvel Comics, we have a couple more stories, one more infuriating than the next. Iron Man gets new armor in June as he crosses over with the X-Men. It is something that you never see with Iron Man. He never makes different and new armor, right? Jerry Duggan is the ongoing writer for both X-Men and Iron Man. And it's weird. It says Iron Man in this. It's Invincible Iron Man. And it doesn't feel like that book is the main it's the only Iron Man book right now, but it didn't feel like that was set up as the main Iron Man book. I thought of that as a side book. You know, Christopher Cantwell's Iron Man, that should be forgotten by everybody, and probably is by now. I'm not saying that that was better. That was bullshit. But this whole deal, it just didn't feel like it was the big one. But I guess now, here we go. It is now. And in June, both titles will start to come together, like the Beatles, for the upcoming Fall of X storyline, which will bring potential ruin and disaster to the mutant nation of Krakoa. And if you're like me, it's about time. Take that, muties. Starting in June 7th, X-Men number 23, the X-Men will have to deal with roaming bands of Sentinels souped up with Stark tech, though Tony Stark himself will be on the X-Men side to oppose the mutant-hunting killer robots. All right. Then on that same day, June 7th, Iron Man number 7, not saying Invincible Iron Man. I don't know. Maybe it's just on the cover and it's just in my head, but it does say that on the cover. We'll introduce a new Iron Man armor built for the specific purpose of infiltrating Tony's own former company, Stark Unlimited, which is now owned by the villainous Fei Long of the anti-mutant group Orcus. And I understood like 3 words in that entire paragraph, so yes. And then July 26, Iron Man number 8 will tie into the 2023 edition of Krakoa's annual Hellfire Gala event. Oh my goodness, which brings all the X-Men to Krakoa, leaving Iron Man to take on the Stark Sentinels all alone. What a bunch of bullshit. They're hanging out with their buddy Tony. You know, they're having a great time. Suddenly they get this invite to this nonsense, and they just ditch him, and now he has to fight this. This is me in high school. I didn't get invited to a lot of parties. I was very angry. You know, you're in the middle of a movie, and all your friends get up and leave, and they don't tell you where because you're not invited to that party. And it's well known. You're not invited to the party because you didn't drink in high school because, you thought you'd get in trouble. I mean, God forbid. Seriously. Now it's bringing back bad memories. But yeah, if you're into the whole X-Men, Iron Man thing, have at it. I like the Invincible Iron Man book enough. I don't know if I'll be heading off into this crossover at that point. I may check back in later. The next story, Kelly Thompson's Captain Marvel run ends with number 50 this summer. Kelly Thompson will end her Captain Marvel run with Captain Marvel number 50 this June. The series, which launched in 2018, is one of Marvel's longest-running current titles, and Thompson is likewise one of the writers with the longest tenure on Carol Danvers in the publisher's history. That kind of feels like backdoor shade. It really does. There's not a lot of long runs. So, yeah, she's one of the top runs there with her cute little 50 issues. I liked this book enough at points. It was very up and down. I gave it a shot. I read most of the issues, but it would be, hey, I'm really into this, and then we'd have Girls' Night Out issue, and then we'd have to get the ramifications of that. And, oh, man, we'd get back to some good things, and then we'd have the same exact cool-down issue again. And then we'd have, these arcs that started feeling very samey. Is that the word, samey? And so I did fall off at, say, the last 10 issues or so. But like I said, I liked it enough at points. Here is the quote. We're going to find out what Kelly Thompson thinks about the Captain Marvel book. When Marvel asked me to write Carol's new Captain Marvel series back in 2018 in the lead up to her first film, I was delighted and also terrified. See, this is, again, you're reminding me of my whole high school time. But I'm glad I didn't let the terror win. Well, that's the thing. I mean, Kelly Thompson, you know this. You never negotiate with the terror. Because it was truly been a fantastic experience, Thompson states in Marvel's official announcement. In terms of the length of her run on Carol Danvers, Thompson's run is only surpassed by that of Kelly Sue DeConnick, who elevated Carol from Miss Marvel to Captain Marvel. Was that elevated? We'll have to discuss that later. Going on to write multiple volumes of her title and several spin-offs starring the character. And Captain Marvel number 50 goes on sale June 7th. The next bit of news cracked me up. And it is the last bit of news. This is going to be in, out, easy peasy, but here we go. The 2023 Hellfire Gala will end up taking place in real life as well as in comics. And I think this is kind of neat. It's neat, and I think it's cool as well because now I can avoid the Hellfire Gala in real life as well as in the comics. I am not involved. Marvel has announced that the 2023 Hellfire Gala is taking place in real life as well as in comics. Really? Is it one of those things like the tree in the woods? Because it ain't happening with me. The 2023 comic book, again, I wouldn't be invited. I'd be right back to high school again. Where are you going, Wolverine? He didn't tell me. He just ran out. Oh, Cyclops. What? Oh, nobody will tell me. They won't tell me what party they're going to. The 2023 comic book Hellfire Gala will take place in a one-shot issue to be released in July. That same month as part of Comic-Con International San Diego. Disney's D23. Sounds sus, right? Sounds, hey, you want to go D23? Oh, my. Yes, I would like that. Event team and Marvel Comics will team up to host a real-world Hellfire Gala. And if it's the real-world Hellfire Gala, they better damn well get Puck involved. And if you know what I'm talking about, you have to be giggling right now because Puck, he'll be in that and he'll eat his scabs. Disgusting. The event. Where am I? For X-Men fans and cosplayers to experience a bit of the magic of Krakoa. Oh, that Krakoan magic. Here's the quote. Mutants, heroes, villains, and those in between. Oh my God, my ears are burning. Are invited to the first ever real-life Hellfire Gala, where we're bringing the living island of Krakoa to San Diego, California on July 22nd, 2023. Mark your calendars, hit your schedules, and avoid that like the plague, like me. I am not, and it's not one of those, again, if you're not invited to a party and then you're like, oh, it's fine, I wasn't going to go to that anyway. As one tear goes down your cheek, right? Yeah, I wouldn't be involved in this Hellfire Gala. People die at these things all the time. Why do they still have it? Seriously, this Hellfire Gala has become more dangerous than a 90s rap music awards show. R.I.P. Biggie and Tupac. East Coast, West Coast war going on. Don't have an awards show. It's going to end up in troubles. Please learn your lesson. But there you go. There you go. The news that is fit to print and talk about here. It's all done. But thanks, everybody. I hope you had a little bit of fun here. I hope I didn't get too crazy. But with all of that, please subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Like the video, enable the notifications, and let me know what you think of any of this nonsense in the comments below. But that's that. I'm out of here. I will talk to you all later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.